Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I bring you the weekly Wednesday Ice Report. First and foremost, a warm, or rather a cold, welcome to our two newest members of the Kneeling Knights, Billy Griffith and Eric Barlow. After a historic performance, making 4 field goals each from 50-plus yards last week, Matt Gay put up an absolute stinker 0-point performance for Billy's low functioning in an overtime loss to the Rams. From a certain point of view, Billy actually lost twice this week, as the other ice came from his beloved Pittsburgh Steelers defense, whose horrific matchup with C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans resulted in negative 6.0 points on Eric's rub and tug. Both ices have already been completed, bringing the season's grand total to 7 ices. Secondly, we take a look at the overall ice landscape thus far. Week 4 of the fantasy season brought us 2 ices, tying last week's total. Week 2 remains king so far with 3 ices earned. We also saw our second non-defense/special teams 0-point performance this week. The aforementioned Matt Gay became just the second individual player and first kicker to earn his fantasy manager the sweet taste of Smirnoff. 7 out of 10 managers have now had salt rubbed in the wound of a 0-point performance and had to chug the alcoholic equivalent of a McDonald's Sprite. Myself, Chris, and Christian remain the warmest guys out there, melting any ice that comes near. This week also saw our newest worst performance of the season. As I already stated, the Steelers' defense and special teams ended the week with negative 6.0 fantasy points, a full 2 points worse than last week's Jacksonville defense and special teams, who had negative 4. We still have yet to see anyone drink a second ice this season, nor have we seen more than 1 ice by the same team in a single week. With roughly a quarter of the season behind us, who knows what happens next? Now I'd like to bring your attention to what I'm calling the 33-degree club. These players must have been around 33 degrees Fahrenheit. They were so close to being ice. First up, Dylan Pfaff's Saquon My Chubb, who had 2 players combined for 2.6 fantasy points. Wow. Jerick McKinnon put up a lowly 0.7 as the Chiefs eked out a win over Dylan's Jets. George Kittle had only a single grab for 9 yards as his team had a healthy 35-16 victory over the Cardinals. Next up, we have Matt Baxter's Joe Flacco Elite, who had 2 players combined for 2.1 fantasy points. Luke Musgrave, a person I have never heard of and would have guessed was a country singer, had only 1.1 points as the Packers bowed down to the new kings of the NFC North on Thursday night, and a singular extra point from Younghoe Koo as the Jaguars home stadium in London saved him from being our first victim of multiple ices. Finally, the 33-degree club player of the week and current sole owner of last place, Tej Patel's puzzle emoji, who had 2 players combined for 2 fantasy points. Chris Olave's lone catch for 4 yards was shockingly not enough to power the Saints to victory over the Bucs, and Deebo Samuel's 6 rushing yards was all that stood between Tej and Ice Ice Baby. Finally, a new segment this week. I'm going to be celebrating the team who was farthest from being iced as the Steam of the Week. Get it? Like Team of the Week, but Steam? Because Steam is the opposite ice? Come on, I know somebody laughed at that one. Or, at least did that thing where you blow a little air out of your nose because it was kind of funny. Anyways, Week 4's Steam of the Week goes to Chris Novolinsky's Joe Buck Yourself. Not only did Joe Buck Yourself build up a solid 131.8 total points, they had only 2 players below double digits, the lowest being Ramondre Stevenson, with a steady 6.0 in the Patriots' loss to the Cowboys. All 9 other teams in the league had at least one performer of less than 5.0 points, highlighting just how impressive this team was this week. So, congratulations to Chris. Billy, Eric, I hope you enjoyed your drinks this week. Dylan, Matt, Tej, I look forward to a better performance next week. Until then, this has been the weekly Wednesday Ice Report. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.